Good morning, fellow Americans. When I was 5, I first learned about politics. It was 1976, and I kept hearing on our little radio that sat on our kitchen counter, Ford this and Carter that, scandal this and dark horse that. I learned to associate those voices and names with anything but me, a shining capital unimaginably far away, something you were born into. It wasn't until I was serving in the Navy that I realized that that capital had inched closer and closer and closer over time. Now, I'm one of those politicians that I used to hear about on our radio. Modern America is a country where politics are scandals, where politicians are vague, where the people care less, and where change never comes. If anything, it's just more real, a more honest reflection of the world. But I think that in order to progress, we need to lose this culture of apathy. People everywhere need to get involved in our government. I think that a large part of this pervasive apathy is from how the government treats its citizens. Right now, the government is far too polarized, far too insensitive to the public's needs. At best, half the country wins 4 years, where hopefully a couple things that they aren't entirely antagonistic to get passed. In general, though, half or more of the country is constantly disenfranchised. And that's what I'm trying to focus on. See, we focus too much on Republicans and Democrats these days. And though I'm running in the Republican primary, I think that there's no way that either party is entirely correct. That's why I consider myself an independent. I want to find the solution holistically, taking the reasoning of both sides so we can benefit the most people possible. For example, the fundamental root of nearly all the problems in our economy today lies with poverty. And as it stands, poverty creates that looming apathy. And if you look at the statistics, it's really no wonder that the crippling poverty has left so many people jaded. It's well known that 42% of Americans raised in the bottom fifth of income stay stagnant, while only 8% rise to the top fifth. In a true meritocracy, both should approach 20%. It's also well known that education is necessary in order to give everyone the opportunities they deserve. But one only has to look at our public school system, where, especially in floundering inner city schools, to see that by no means are our education opportunities shared, equally or equitably. And a lot of this is because right now, public schools form a monopoly. And while they might not be inherently corrupt, they lock our disadvantaged youths into a terrible cycle. But I have a solution, a holistic solution. If we give the families the ability to spend their tax dollars on any school, public or private, we implement an element of choice. This results in no extra government spending, since it's just a diversion of funds that would have been dedicated entirely to public schools. However, it forces our schools to compete and to give everyone the best education possible, and allows students to focus their studies on whatever interests them in more specialized schools. And by channeling kids out of the failing public schools, we eliminate overcrowding and give the public schools a second chance to flourish once again. This will serve to better educate our workforce, and with better education comes a better economy, a better standard of living, a better country, and a better political attitude in general. That's what I'm trying to focus on. If my 14 years in the House and Senate taught me anything, it's the importance of compromise. Politics is a dance. If both partners try to lead, they trip and make fools of themselves. If I can convey just one message to you, it's that in order to progress, we need to have our policy transcend politics, so we don't make fools of ourselves on the world stage. On a final brief note, I'd like to draw attention to the allegations made against Senator Hirsch. She's a smart, competent woman, and I think that as a country we should not draw this scandal or any subsequent one out of proportion. Thank you for your time, and remember, vote Toby for a brighter future.